Today's video, we're going to talk about listing a simple email address on your landing pages and how that'll increase your conversion rate 20+%. That is, you'll get 20% more conversions or leads from your landing page from and when you add a simple email address to that landing page, particularly on B2B campaigns, but not just only that. I'm going to explain exactly why that is and how you do it in the way that you'll actually make sure to get those extra 20% plus leads, as well as how to maximize the profitability of the leads you got that you're going to have by putting that email address on your website, on your landing page that you're driving traffic to from an ad campaign, so you can use this to the fullest advantage possible. Now, the reason why you add an email address to a landing page or a website, if you're driving people to just a regular website instead of a landing page, which anymore that's a no-no, but assuming you're doing it, in either case, the reason why you do it is because certain people prefer to simply email you. They don't want to fill out a contact form to email you. They want to see an email address on the website. They're expecting it, or they'll see the email address and say, oh, wow, I can just email them. Great. And they'll go ahead and do that. There's a key thing that you need to know, and that is the more communication methods that your website has, the more leads you're going to get. And I'm going to go into detail on this, exactly why you want to add more communication methods, one of which is a very important one, is an email address, and then how that's going to lead to more money and how much. Through and with the case study that I'm going to share with you on this video as well, from the outsourced process serving industry, where I have a case study for you, and I'm going to go through the numbers on the qualified leads we got before and after just putting the simple email address onto our landing pages for our ad campaigns and website, and what that did to our leads. And then of the qualified leads we were getting, what percentage of them came from the email address versus the form fill versus the phone call, so you can see the general impact this can and will have on your business when you institute it for your business as well. Going into the content here, as I mentioned just a minute ago, the more communication methods that you have on your website available for people that you're driving traffic to your website from Google ads, Facebook ads, whatever, the more leads you get. And the reason for this is very simple. Different people have different preferred means of communication. I see guys all the time, as well as some gals. They have a preferred means of communication that they want to be communicated with. And then because they want people to call, or they want people to just fill out a form, they'll just have that one option on their landing page, and they're just basically going to get rid of at least 10% of their leads, if not upwards of 100% of their leads, simply because they don't want to deal with people in a certain way. For me, I don't care how people communicate with me. If they want to send me a fax to send me money, I'm going to take a damn fax if I had to. Obviously, we don't do that anymore, but literally, I don't care. Send homing pigeons to me. I don't care. If somebody wants to send me money through a homing pigeon, I'm going to do it. So for that matter, for you guys who want phone calls, you want somebody to call you, what are you doing? Why would you want to turn away extra money that's available to you just simply having an extra communication method available to your customers or prospects on your website? Just simply putting an email address on that website can increase the leads you get at least 20%, upwards of 50% I've seen, just simply doing this one simple thing. If you really want to get the most leads of your ad program or ad campaign that you're running, you really should have all 5 of these, some more important than others in markets. And to be fair, most people, they realize that they get most of the leads through the contact form, through the phone, and then they'll narrow everything down to that. And I understand that to some regard. And in certain industries, you'll get leads mostly through the phone calls that you get. Some industries, you'll get most of the leads through the contact form, assuming you offer both communication methods on your landing page. By default, you should be starting out with all 5 of these if you want to get the most leads possible for your ad money. With that, offering all 5 of these things, you'll get more leads, certainly, because you'll get a trickle of leads from, let's say, SMS that you wouldn't have got otherwise if you didn't have that option on your page. And not necessarily because people expect it, but people say, ooh, wow, I can just text them? Great, I'm just going to do that instead. Because it takes activation energy for somebody to contact you. People just take for granted that if somebody really wants their cleaning service or their web design service or whatever it is, they'll just contact them and it's not a big deal. If they wanted it, they would contact them. But it always takes energy and effort to fill out a form, let's say, And a lot of times people don't want to do it. And when you say, alternatively, you can do X, it increases the chance you're going to get the person to contact you, given the person's lazy as hell, and it presumably seems easier to email you than fill out a form for a certain percentage of the population that will want to try to do business with you. So you offer multiple options for them, and some people are going to think that the email option is an easier route to go versus filling out the form or what have you. And same thing with phone calls, same thing with sending a text message. Ultimately, people view it differently. That, and they're just used to dealing with people through text message. And in that case, if you offer a text message option, they're going to be more likely to contact you, because a lot of people are just simply on the fence. Do I want to contact them? Do I not? I'm not sure. Oh, they have a text option. It's not that hard. I like texting. I'll contact them. Whereas if you just simply wouldn't have had it, you wouldn't have got that lead. And I realize the issues here. Most people don't want to offer all these communication options because then they have to manage 5 communication channels, text message, all this stuff. And the reality is, if you got a good salesperson, they're just going to be happy they're getting extra leads. If it's just you doing it, you should be happy that you're making an extra 50% more money, no extra ad budget. Yes, it's slightly more hard to do all that, but what the hell are you doing? You're here to make money. Make your damn money, then outsource it to somebody else to do after that. Really. Toll, I'm going to make a little bit of money so I can pay my bills and not hire too many people, where you'd rather sit on the pot than get off of it. In today's environment, that doesn't make any sense, because your competitors in your market are going to be willing to do this stuff. And if you're not, they're just going to beat you eventually over time. You can't just do what you think is the minimum to have a nice life. You either, when you're talking about a competitive environment like Facebook ads, Google ads, and all this, you got to do more, and you got to just crush your competition. Because if they aren't, you let them just to their own devices make improvements on their end, they're just going to keep gaining more ground on you. And guess what? The guys that I seen go out of business, they're doing that, and then by time they realize they have to hurry up and do something, it's too late. It took money and it took time for you to even combat the ground that they gained on you, and it's too late. You don't have any money saved up, you already spent it on the Corvette and all the vacations and all this shit, you're out of business. For that matter, you have all these communication methods. The way to get the full value out of your ad spend in today's environment, with all the bots, click fraud, tire kicker prospects, you do offline conversion tracking so that you could track, in addition to all the new extra leads that you're getting, which of these leads are valued to your business, and then pass the information about the leads that you're getting that are quality versus non-quality back to the ad platform. Google, Facebook, all the mainstream ad platforms allow you to do this. And then the algorithm that runs your ads and runs the ad platform itself self-correct on an ongoing basis. The more money you've spent, the more intelligent the system will get at getting you more qualified leads for a cheaper and cheaper cost each. And you just keep making more money, just simply feeding in more data to the algorithm that says how to get you more results. A lot of people overlook this step. In most markets, that'll be all the edge that you need once you have everything else at par level, just because you're going to be going after the people that are worth paying for, and all your competition are going to be going for the people that are cheap but not nearly worth as much. And you're going to be going after like the whale prospects and getting them at average cost, but they're well above average leads. That's why you do it more than anything else, and your lead quality goes through the roof once you start this process. The problem though, and the reason why people don't like to put an email address on their web pages, is they can't track it. Yes, you could track whether somebody clicks on the email address itself, but there's a lot of bots that come to your webpage and will click that email address, and it will muddy up your numbers. Just like they will with trying to track phone calls by just whether or not somebody clicks on the phone number to import the phone number into their phone app on their phone. That's one way to do so-called call tracking, or tracking your calls, but it's a really crappy way to do it because of all the bots that'll click the number. What you need to do is validate whether that call was a qualified call and that is going to be valuable to your business, and that you want more like that. The same thing needs to be done with these emails that you're going to get from the email address being on your webpage. And so what you ultimately do is one of two things. One of which, you can just simply use a Hotjar account, which video records every session on your webpage. You pay an assistant to watch the recordings. I mean, if you only have like 100 a month, this would be easily doable. That web recording software, you can look at the URL. At the end of the URL, there's a Google Click ID or a Facebook Click ID or LinkedIn Click ID into the URL. You grab that, and that's what you pass back to the ad platform when you have a qualified lead that you know was qualified. So when somebody goes to click on the email address or highlighted it to copy into their email client, you'll be able to see that on the video recording that records every user session coming to your website. And then you could pause the video, grab the ID on the user's URL, was in their URL bar of web page, their web browser ultimately, and then you know what click ID to pass back to the ad platform, and you complete the conversion loop. That is, the email turned into a qualified lead that you know was qualified because you saw the email come through your other end on your email system. You knew it was qualified. You went back to Hotjar to get the click ID. You passed it back to the ad platform. They know who you're talking about, and then now you can they'll use that to steer your ads in a better direction moving forward, as well as you can actually use it to have data to help streamline your ads when you manually optimize your ads as well, such as seeing what income demographics drive most of the qualified leads, the gender, the age demographics, the interest categories that people even search for your keywords. If somebody likes something, if they like that thing, they're more or less likely to turn into a qualified lead itself. And you can do all this stuff once you have the data in the ad platform to actually do it with. But the alternate way other than Hotjar is to track using a Google Tag Manager account and a Google Analytics account. You can track and set up as an event inside Google Analytics anybody who clicks on the email address, and of which will send the Google Click ID or the Click ID from the URL into Google Analytics, so that later on when you need to find out, okay, this email was qualified, I want to send the related click ID to the ad platform, you can go into Google Analytics and it'll be there, so to say. But it's not the best option because a lot of people don't click on the email address in order to email. They'll just copy and paste it into their Gmail account, web Gmail account, and email that way, and then you won't get all the data. And for that matter, all it takes is missing 20% of the data to have half of your results essentially gone that you would have normally got through having quality offline conversion tracking data in your ad account. That's why I recommend Hotjar. And I learned this from one of our subscribers that did this and started using this method exclusively, basically moving forward. We want to track qualified leads that came from the email address and emails thereof on our landing pages that we use, that we drive traffic to at our agency for our clients. Anyway, that's the full spectrum of how you use the email to get the full results out of your having the email address itself on your landing pages. Now, I'm going to get into a case study here for a process server company, which what they do or did, if you will, is when you need to sue somebody, you need a process server. But internationally, it's harder to do. If somebody's left the country, fled the country, moved, whatever, you got to do this internationally. Well, this client specialized in this, and working through them, we added an email address to our landing pages to the website to get extra leads. And ultimately, from what I've learned since we started with them, essentially, why I started doing it after we've worked with them for a while versus right at the beginning, was I learned how important email is to other clients that we've had, particularly in the B2B space, but not only. That in the B2B space, you absolutely got to have an email address on your website. Older individuals, as we found, like to email more than fill out a contact form. Oddly enough, but we learned how many extra leads you get, so we started doing it for them. And so with that, we got the opportunity here to identify adding the email address to the website and the landing pages, how much of a lift in leads, total leads we would get doing that thing itself. And that's what I have to display to you here with this case study. So before I get into that, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you absolutely should. I have the best information you're going to find online about how to make money with ads on this channel. You're not going to find anything else better elsewhere, so subscribe. Furthermore, I've got the best blog as well that you're going to find online with my written strategies. I spend 40 hours a week doing ad strategy at our advertising firm on dozens of ad accounts to give you what I find what works through our clients and through what we're doing. And I document those strategies on my blog, and then I talk about them on the channel here as well. So check that blog out as well if you haven't already and you're a subscriber to the channel. If you have any questions, by the way, about everything I'm covering here, or any ad related or marketing related question, you can always leave me a comment below. I get back to every single person who leaves me a question or comment on this channel, usually within 24 hours. Beyond that, you can reach out to me through my Discord link. I got a link to a Discord group that I've started in the video description. Check that out, and you can reach out to me there. You can also reach out to me through my site at guaranteedppc.com, of which I do a couple things for clients here, one of which I do coaching and consulting, if you want to do that. I also, by the way, offer done-for-you PPC and ad management services. So with that, but what makes us unique, unlike the 1,000 other companies that claim to do it, we offer guaranteed results at the beginning. That is, you do not have to pay a management fee unless we lift your profitability of your ads a certain minimum amount up front in excess of what you're already getting, which offsets the management fee that we charge. If you're interested in that, let me know. I'll get you a projection of results and guarantee just so you can evaluate what we can provide for you. I also sell templates now as well, whereas, essentially you could hire us to do all your ads. If we've already worked in your space before, instead of working with us outright, which you can still do, you can buy from us the winning ads, landing pages, campaign templates that work for your niche market already. You copy paste those into your ad account and get the same results we did without all the work and money that we had to spend to figure out how to get the results in your market. We've got hundreds of these templates because we've been in business over a decade now, and through that process we just came across a lot of data that we now have, and as long as you're in a different city or country that our client is in, you can use it. For that matter, let me know if you're interested in that as well. Now, going back into the case study, this is out of the country process serving services itself, which in this market, the goal is to target everybody looking to target anybody in any other country with a process or documents that need to be served on them. Of which, just to let you know the spread on the leads that we get, if you're still not totally sold on offering more communication methods, we didn't even do SMS, we didn't do live chat because the client's kind of a little technically challenged, so it's an older guy. We did phone calls and form fills for a while. Later on, added email. When we're talking about pure leads, if you want to know the spread on this, 41% of our total leads came from phone calls, 30% came from form fills, 29% of those overall conversions or leads came from emails that we got from the client or for the client. So emails, as you can see here, can provide a large chunk of your leads by offering it. Now, if you're wondering on the qualified leads, here's the interesting thing. You're going to get a higher percentage of qualified leads you'll get a higher lead to qualified lead rate from email most of the time than you will get from phone calls. Why? Because it's low effort to call somebody and ask a quick question. But to type out a whole email that takes 15 minutes, that takes a lot more serious prospect to do it, which is why you want to offer an email address on your webpage and why I'm making this video. Whereas our total leads were only 29, of the total leads we got, email only amounted to 29% of those leads. It was 31% of our total qualified leads. So our lead to qualified lead rate on the emails that we were getting was better than the phone calls by a significant amount, because 41% of our leads were coming from phone calls, but they were only 27% of our qualified leads. And then for form fills, whereas those were 30% of our overall leads, they were 42% of our qualified leads. Technically, the best leads that we got were form fills, but the second best were emails, and then the last were actual phone calls. The serious buyers are coming through form and email. So, yeah, not to say that form's better than email, they both provide their own individual utility to your business, because if you didn't offer email, you wouldn't get as many qualified leads at the end of the day, which, if you're wondering on the numbers on that, like I said, with this particular company, it was a situation where we weren't doing email. We had this client for a long time. I learned along the way that how important email is, to have an email address on your web pages and all that to get the most leads for our clients. We started adding the email address to the website. Adding the email address to all our landing pages and website itself increased our total lead flow by 24%. Just having the email option on our landing pages and website. That right there is where I came up with the 20+% increase in leads that you're going to get that's on the title of this particular video. Since this situation occurred, for the most part, I'm going to add an email address option on every single B2B landing page that I ever produce moving forward, and have been, because it works so well and adds so much extra value and revenue to our bottom line on any ad campaigns that we're running. Even though it's a pain in the butt to track it properly, it's worth it to do it because it brings in so many extra leads. For consumer businesses, I'm still going to offer an email address option because we've done it with some cleaning company. We had an email address on there, and we were getting people to email us as well. Even though in that situation, it probably only provide you an extra 5 or 10% more leads, you still want to do it. And the leads you do get are super qualified because, again, they're not going to email you if they're not super motivated to buy. So whereas it might only provide you 5% more leads, certainly can provide you 10+% of more qualified leads, and which is why you want to do it. And that's basically what we got in the cleaning space, to give you an outside example. That said, in the B2C space, I know we're not talking about that here, but what's more important than the email address being on the webpage, even though you want to add that as well, is SMS, specifically SMS. People love when you offer them a text option, particularly, and I made videos about this before, when you say, text us for a quick quote or text us for a special discount, something like this. You'll get a ton of texts and a ton more leads as a result. And when they text you, you text them back with an auto reply, and you get a super high response rate because you can do an auto reply and it looks like a human actually replied to them. You can do it on a delay. You do it after a 30-second delay, so it looks like a human really replied to them. It's not a bot. And instead of waiting around trying to respond to form leads itself, which you should have an auto reply there as well, the text could just email them right away. Hey, send us a photo of your tattoo or your wall that's busted or whatever. And they'll do that. And they're pretty much, you've locked them in. They're not going anywhere else at that point in time. That's my favorite technique. Anyway, getting a bit off track. Hopefully this made a lot of sense to you. It encourages you to do email, have an email address on your landing pages on your website if you're running any kind of ad campaigns to your website right now. And with that said, I'll wrap it up with that. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one. If you want to see another video, click here. It is one of my best ones.